Ja, ja, ja. I am going to be streaming for a while. Yippee! I will be streaming for a while. You know what I'm already doing? What? Streaming. Right. What? You should forget your grades before you do that. Well, yes, son. Getting close. I'm trying to make my streams work. It was a rain. I thought it was just a little present. Looks like one. Well, I'm gonna turn on the heat later. Oh, thank you. $5. In person. Those are my tacos. Your stuff's in the fridge. Yes, sir. Whatever. Eat it. No, I won't be. I don't go to Los Campos because I don't like it. They're both about the same, Marcus. Well, I'm at home to do one thing next week. Give you one thing next week. You only got tomorrow. Listen, you got tomorrow. You're off Saturday and Sunday. You go to school Monday and Tuesday, and you're off for 5 days. She'll stay for tutoring on Monday. That's it. 1 hour. stand in there eating. Yeah, the rat's in here eating. Oh, she's already done. Did you eat breakfast for lunch at school? What did you have? Both? Did you eat any vegetables or ice cream or chips or? Yeah, there is ice cream. You drink any juice or milk or chocolate milk? Good. I'll be upstairs. I'll be.
Guys, I'm back. Mm-hmm.
Beaver Creek with Epic Day Pass. Passes go off sale December 2nd.
Hey, YouTube ads, you need this Chrome extension. I feel like I just found a Google cheat code. This Chrome extension lets you block ads or get paid to watch them.
New recruits and candidates for the anti-accredited unit. The handling of emergency situations is one of the most dangerous and risky tasks. Then the voice tells us to pay attention and this plays. Whoa, that was dope. Apparently, this was a possession test. If we have a reaction to it, we should immediately go and ask for help at the Department for the Fight Against Kefalni Dangers. I'll tell you what that means in a moment. As you can see, a reaction consists of confusion, delirium, spasms, and loss of consciousness. You'll learn more during the courses of resistance against akratids. Because of the rise in akratid activity, Magnita Shakhtin's government signed a new ordinance for which any contact between people and akratids is to be considered an emergency situation. The document was signed on October 23rd of 1992. This, at least, gives us an idea of when the series is set. The Anti-Acritid Unit was created right after this ordinance, and their duties consist of the protection of the population from emergency situations, to ensure the general security of people against acritids, the security of people on bodies of water, if I got that right. I don't know why it's specifically mentioned. And then also general patrolling. Also, the implementation of measures aimed to prevent, forecast, and mitigate the consequences of an emergency situation, and a bunch of other specific stuff. When doing your duty, you will come face to face with the acritids, which can be divided into two types: pragmats, who have a physical form and present a physical threat, and kephals, who don't have a physical form and present a mental threat. I wonder what this reminds me of. Also, there we go with the kephali thing. Both names obviously come from Greek words, one from pragma, which roughly means action, and one from kephalos, which means head. Well, it's either that or a fish, you decide. Also, the video ends with this message. May Irun help you. I don't actually get what name the voices use. If any of you understand it or know it, then tell me, please. Again, we start with the logo. In the last year, in the area of Magnitogorsk, 537 emergency situations tied to acritids were recorded. 53 of these were tied to an infection of Nispiach, which I think is a play on the word uspiach, which means success. The infection mostly hits women and elderly people. The parasite is invisible to the naked eye, but its effects are noticeable and can be lethal. First signs of the infection: slight fatigue, irritability, loss of appetite. Second stage of the infection: the subject keeps losing his drive to perform his daily chores and duties. Third stage of the infection: the subject stops performing his chores entirely. He gets a constant headache and nausea and completely loses his appetite. Fourth stage: at this point, a cure is basically completely impossible. The subject stops showing any sign of brain activity, and his breathing stops. If you do get any symptoms, you should immediately go to the hospital.
No shit.
And the infected is put in a special MCS hospital. The active phase of the treatment will begin. The only treatment known to work so far is making the subject perform normal daily chores. Oh, alright. Chores like dry yourself with the towel, look in the mirror, put on an HAV suit, be bloated in front of a basket, and roll a ball, put on your shoes and care for some houseplants, I guess. This and that, and hail the coat hanger. That's all we need to know about this acritid. So, that was actually cute, I think. It's a pretty cool concept, except that it's basically depression until your brain shuts down. And I do like the fact that the cure is basically doing house chores. In the description, we also finally get something more. Supplementary material for those serving in the Anti-Acritid Unit. This material interview with Sofia Timofeyevna Nikitina from December 12th, 1995.
And cashback is just the beginning. With no annual fee. Chase Freedom Unlimited. How do you cash back?
Introducing the new Sleep Number Climate Cool Smart Bed, the only smart bed in the world that actively cools and effortlessly adjusts to both of you. Sleep up to 15 degrees cooler on each side. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Visit a Sleep Number store near you.
What's up, guys, and welcome to Do Not Take This Cat Home. Now, apparently this is a horror game. I don't know. I don't see how. It looks like a fun game about a cat in a box that we're going to be taking home, and it says not to. How could this possibly go bad? Now, we're going to play through the entire thing in video or as much of it as we can, so grab your snacks, grab a drink, some popcorn, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's go ahead and start the game, though, and begin. By the way, let's get some cat emoji.
I don't know about you, get something like Fallout, Resident Evil, or even Silent Hill, but I personally think that one of the most fascinating atmosphere this Gmod is built from Half-Life 2, which is a grim dystopian game with lots of dark and depressing undertones that, though usually buried deep under Gmod's signature copyright-violating insanity, can sometimes create a distinct uncanny feeling when there's not any wacky shenanigans going on to distract you. In other words, once all your friends pile out of a multiplayer server and you're left alone, Gmod can actually be kind of fucking creepy. Take, for instance, GM Construct, one of the most iconic sandbox levels in all of gaming. I'm sure you've seen countless memes of this place by now. It's one of the only 2 levels Garry's Mod comes with on its own if you haven't got any mods or other games installed, and its green grass and bright blue sky are so picturesque that the map almost feels like a crude crayon drawing made by a kindergartner or something. Construct has served as the backdrop of countless people's childhoods over the last 15 or so years, and I'm sure many watching have warm, cozy memories of time spent goofing around here with friends when we were all younger. But take them out to a single-player lobby with no mods installed, and with nothing distracting you from just taking in this abstract industrial environment, something quickly becomes obvious. This place is otherworldly. Its layout doesn't make any sense. It doesn't actually feel like or resemble any places that exist in the real world, and there's even some areas like this dark room that a lot of people have long considered to just be flat out creepy. The existential dread that humans experience in empty public transit areas, stores, and yes, even video game servers, is a phenomenon that the internet has become acutely aware of in recent years, inspiring endless discussions about liminal spaces and canopsia, defined as the eerie atmosphere of a place that is usually bustling with people but is now abandoned. As of late, a lot of people have started getting extremely tired of hearing about this, since the internet hasn't really shut up about it since it first became popular. But what if I told you that GM Construct didn't become iconic as one of the most unintentionally creepy video game levels ever, just because of little kids on Roblox doing Nextbot chases? What if I told you that it hasn't just been everyone's paranoia, that there is in fact something sinister hiding in GM Construct, and that the level's creepiness actually runs a lot deeper than anybody realizes? Something a lot of people don't know about Construct is that it carries a very long, complicated, and somewhat obscure history dating all the way back to 2004, which I'm sure makes it older than most people watching this video. The vibrant version that everyone knows today technically didn't even exist until 2012, and the earlier versions look strikingly different. They were much less colorful. In fact, the original map actually didn't have any color at all because it was just meant to be a reference to the original Matrix movie. It's actually a bit funny to realize that what started out as a white purgatory with buttons to spawn Half-Life 2 props quickly evolved into one of the greatest and most iconic digital playgrounds ever the moment people started realizing you could make the ragdolls in the map hump each other. Stay classy, Gmod community. Moving on though, the bleak, muted, and flat-out bizarre vibes that early versions of Construct carry have fascinated people for a long time, and they're a big part of the level's mystique. Quite peculiarly, back in June I got the chance to interview Garry Newman, the creator of both GM Construct and Gmod as a whole, and he revealed to me that he actually doesn't even really remember making some of these early versions of the map, which is kind of odd. Anyways, fast forward to the present day. Construct has and that description given really doesn't explain this huge file size. For reference, the original GM Construct is only 35 megabytes. So let's have a look for ourselves, why don't we? Downloading the add-on off the workshop and booting up Gmod, nothing seems too fishy at a glance. The level appears on the map menu right next to the real Construct, even sporting a custom icon with a little beta stamp on it. Clicking on the level and loading into the game, we can immediately see all the classic Construct landmarks like the spawn buildings, the warehouse, and the pond-side tower. The skyline looks a little different though, with more visible cliffs and forests. And there's also a new sign on the side of the warehouse reading Construct Inc. These are our first sign of those restored features from the old Facepunch thread that the add-on description promised. And if we enter pretty much any of these familiar buildings around us, we'll immediately start coming across even more interesting cut content. For example, heading down to the white colorable room, it now has doors so you can fully engulf yourself in the void without any visual interruptions, just pure white. This is kind of cool, but it does have one critical problem, being that these doors close behind you automatically. This makes it startlingly easy to lose track of direction and get stuck inside if you don't put a prop down by the door or something, so I can definitely see why this feature was removed. The dark room is already pretty spooky even with well-lit exit doors, so getting lost in here probably would have terrified me as a kid. Heading even further down, the mirror room now leads to a bunker, which in turn connects to a sprawling series of tunnels that lead back to the dark room, the spawn room, and even a new area funneling into the lake. Looking at the original forum thread, this was apparently meant for building submarines, which is a novel idea, but let's be real here, ain't nobody building submarines in this game, man. You ever built a fucking submarine in Gmod? I haven't, and look at how long I've played this game, so clearly nobody's gonna fucking use that. The tunnels also connect to that lakeside building, which instead of being completely